So now I'm going to mute this and go to SHP. And SHP is a waveshaper. And what this does is it remaps input values to a different output value using one of many different curve options. And depending upon the curve shape, this can either work as a simple compressor or an effect that selectively reduces the output of the generator. So I'm going to unmute this by pushing square. So now we have the same loop playing again. Push, in this case I'm pushing start and pushing up and selecting synth, edit synth, wave shape 0, select effects. Now there's two parameters. The first one is the type, and this is the indicates the waveform that the waveshaper is mapped against, and then mix is the amount of the output that's used. So in this case, I'm going to try modifying against cube 0. And you can hear that cube 0 only allows through the loudest of sounds, and the quiet sounds are basically removed. Well, cube 1 allows more audio through. Now, there's also some familiar waveforms like sine, sine 2, sine 3, sine 4. These waveforms typically, what they'll do is they'll reduce the overall output, and then the ones like sine R2, R3, and R4, they will they'll allow more output through and increase the overall volume while adding some distortion. So sine R4 makes the output the loudest, but it adds the most distortion. And there's also mapping using the triangle waveform as well. And it works in a pretty similar way to the sine waveform, just it's a little more dramatic in sound. So now I'm going to mute the waveshaper. I'm going to bring up the last track, and I'll show you. And this is the wave SVF. So I'm going to SVF is a state variable filter, which is a typical audio filter that you're probably familiar with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute this one by pushing square, and now I'm going to go to the menu system by pushing left trigger, right trigger, triangle, selecting effects. So now what we have is we have 6 parameters that control filter. Now the first 2 parameters are meaningless if you have a generator that doesn't have a frequency component. What free track and offset do is allow the frequency of the filter to follow the frequency of the generator. If free track is off, then the frequency the filter filters at it depends completely upon the value in the freq parameter. But if it's on and you have a track which has a frequency component, like a BAM generator or an FM generator, Carpel Strong, or the PSQ or ROT generators, then in that case the frequency is set to the frequency of the generator multiplied by the offset value. So offset allows you to open or close the filter in a way that is related to the frequency of the generator. So this is a very easy way to have a filter that follows the generator. So it's just a nice way to be able to control an effect in a musical way. Now, if you use this effect, it actually will erase all your old frequency values. They're all overwritten. So you have to be careful when you turn free track on that you don't want any of the old frequency values there that you had put in there when free track was off. So the next 3 parameters actually control what the filter sounds like. These are resonance, frequency, and type. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the mix all the way up. So now you can hear that the output is being filtered. Now, res is the resonance, and this can vary from 0 to 1. 0 has a very small amount of resonance, while 1.0 has the largest amount of resonance. And if you bring res close to 1.0, then the filter starts to oscillate at the frequency of the frequency parameter. And I'll show you what that sounds like in a minute. Now, the freak value is the sort of the cutoff frequency of the filter, and this is either the frequency where the filter ends or the frequency where the filter starts, depending upon the filter type that you're using. And there are 4 filter types in SVF. There's a low pass, there's a high pass, there's a band pass, and then there's a notch filter. So right now we have a band pass, which means that we only pass frequencies near the freak value. So if I change this, you can hear that the frequency of the output changes. Now I'm going to set this to high pass, which means that everything above the freak value is passed and everything below is stopped. And if you bring it all the way into 0, then basically all the output is generated, and the output's unaffected. So next is a low pass, where everything up to the freak value is passed through, and then everything above it is not. So then the last one is a notch, where basically we're applying a notch filter where you're only filtering our frequencies near the freak value. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the bandpass filter, and I'm going to raise the resonance up so you can hear what it sounds like when that gets close to 1. So the closer you get to 1, you can hear that more and more of the frequency at the freak value is being passed, and all the other frequencies are being ignored. So now we're just playing this kind of piteous, noisy signal of 477 Hertz, and if I bring the frequency down, fun. Okay, so that's all I have to really say on the SVF effect, and that's all the effects that are in PSPSeq.